third design issue is implementation of connectionless service. So what is a connectionless service? Your SMS is a connectionless service. Here in a connectionless service, the sender will never establish any type of connection with destination. The main goal of the sender is just to transfer the data. Whether the data has been reached or not reached is also not being concerned for the source station. And for connectionless service, we are going to use a protocol called as UDP, User Datagram Protocol. And how exactly is this connectionless service implemented? This is how your connectionless service subnet is going to be implemented with some routing tables, where here you are having a process P1 present in host H1 and a process P2 present in host H2. Now the process P1 want to transfer data to process P2 of H2. So what or how the mechanism is being implemented between this process P1 and process P2, and data is transferred from process P1 to process P2. And whenever your data size is more, the network layer is going to divide the data into parts. Suppose if the maximum segment size of the network or of the carrier network is less, or sorry, if the maximum segment size is less than the data packet, or the source, whatever data is being generated by the source, if that source data's size is more than the maximum segment size of the carrier network, then the network layer is going to be dividing the data into pieces, which we call it as fragmentation. So here your connectionless network is being implemented in this manner. In a connectionless service, all the packets whatever are there, they are injected in the subnet individually and routed independently of each other. Here there is no advanced setup required, because there is no connection establishment and no connection termination phases. Here the main goal is just to transfer the data from source to destination. So here only we have a data transfer phase. So if you observe very carefully in this diagram, whatever data that is being generated by the process P1 in the host H1 is being divided into 4 packets. Packet 1, packet 2, packet 3, packet 4. And these 4 packets are not being transferred to only one single link. Okay, 1, 2, 3 are being transferred through a channel A, C, E, whereas the packet 4 is being routed through router B. So this is how. That means each individual packet can take its own route to reach the final destination. There is no compulsion that the packet should and must follow this route only. That means there is no strict source routing in this connectionless service. And here each packet is called as datagram, which is like a telegram. And this subnet is called as datagram subnet. We call this entire subnet as your datagram subnet. And these are the routing tables for each router. Where if you observe the routing table of A to A, it will be always null, because it can't reach from itself. Then A to B, there is a direct link. So my destination link is B. A to C, there is a dedicated link. So my destination link is C. But A to D, if you observe, I can reach to D through B. So I'm having my destination link as B. That means this line specifies that to reach from A to D, I'm supposed to transfer through B. And A to E is through C. A to E is through C. And A to F is through again C only. That means this column is nothing but the direct link to which A is attached, which specifies that to reach to the other routers, to which direct link you're supposed to transfer the packet. This is how the routing tables are being framed. So now we'll see how exactly the data from process P1 is transferred to process P2 in depth, in detail. Suppose the process P1 in this host H1 want to transfer data to process P2 in the host H2, and if the data is too long, very long, then the transport layer running on, then the transport layer running on H1 is going to append a message to the data and then transfer it to the network layer, where the network layer will again append some header to the message that is coming from the transport layer, and that message is transferred to the router A of the carrier's equipment, which is directly connected to the host H1. Suppose that the process P1 in the figure is a long message for P2. It hands a message to the transport layer running on H1 within the operating system with instructions to deliver it to the process P2 on host H2. Now, the transport layer is going to prepend. That means it will just attach a header to the front of the message and hand the result to the network layer. Now, since the message is 4 times longer than the maximum packet size, the network layer breaks the data into 4 packets, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and sends each of them in turn to router A using either point-to-point protocol. We have a point-to-point protocol called as PPP. At this point, the carrier takes over the data, and every router, each router has an internal table telling it where to send packets for each possible destination. Now here in this packet that is being generated by H1, the source is H1 and the destination is H2, and the source router is A for A and the destination router is F because H2 is attached to the router F. So here see, each table entry is a pair consisting of destination and the outgoing line to use for that destination. Now if you see this A table initially, okay, A, B, C, D, E and F, these are the destination routers, and BC, BCC, these are the destination links to which the packet should be forwarded so that they can be reached to the final destination points. So for example, in this figure, A has only 2 outgoing links. If you observe carefully, A is having only 2 outgoing links. One is to B and the one is to C. So for every incoming packet that is coming to A, that can be sent to either B or it can be sent to either C. And this is how the A's initial table is. So as per this, the packets 1, 2 and 3 are forwarded to the router C, and from router C to router E, and thereby to F. I'll just enlarge this. Why? If you take a C's table specifies that to reach to D, E and F, the outgoing links are D as well as E. That means C has a direct link from C to D. So for D, it is directed D. And C has to reach to F, C should go through the router E only. And C can also reach to A. And if C won't reach to B, C should reach to A only. So 1, 2 and 3 packets are directed to the channel ACE. But later again A has updated its table. Observe very carefully the initial table of router A and the final and the later table of router A. Here to reach E and F, it is taking C as the outgoing link, but here it has changed or modified the outgoing link from C to B. The main reason is, suppose if the network or the carrier equipment has sensed that there is a heavy traffic jam over this line, it will automatically update its routing table using some routing algorithms. We have some routing algorithms which periodically update the routing tables. It's analogous to your Google mapping. Suppose if you are traveling in a car through Gmap or through your Google Maps, and when the Google Map sends that there is a heavy traffic jam before you, then it will reroute the path. And observe very carefully, it will not always have one fixed route. The route is flexible. The route will be deviating from time to time based on many parameters. In the same way, here also A has now updated his routing table, and then that means after transferring packet 1, 2, and 3, A realized that, sorry, the carrier equipment has realized that there is a heavy traffic jam at or in this route. So it has updated its routing table, and now it has transferred packet 4 to this path A, B, D, E, and F. This entire thing is specified here. As they arrived at A, packets 1, 2, and 3 were stored briefly to verify the checksum. Then each was forwarded to C according to A's table. Packet 1 was then forwarded to E and then to F. When it got to F, it was an interface data link layer frame and sent to H2 over the local area network. So once packet 1 has reached to F, then packet 1 has been encapsulated into the data link layer, and then data link layer responsibility is to transfer the data from local area network to its respective process of the host H2. So from here to here again we have data link layer coming into picture. Now, however, something different happened to packet 4. Why something different happened to packet 4? Because packet 4 has taken a different route apart from ACE route, because it has updated its routing table, and these routing tables are going to be updated using some routing algorithms. So this is how your connectionless protocol or connectionless service is going to be implemented. So this is your third service of your network layer design issue.